If you've waited till about 6 p.m. the next day after you've had a binge the night before, and then you've restricted for this many hours, of course you're going to binge again. Hello, my favorite people. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. As always, here we talk about body positivity, eating disorder recovery, things like binge eating disorder recovery, anorexia, and I talk a lot about my experiences and struggles with my body and food. Today's a very important topic because it's very difficult to navigate this when you've struggled so much with food and your body in your life even right now. How do I know when to eat? How do I know when I'm actually hungry? These hunger and fullness signals can become very, very blurred when you've dealt with binging and restricting, even when it comes to intermittent fasting, if it fits your macros, any kind of controlling behavior that you've had surrounding food in your body. We don't actually know how to eat intuitively, and we don't know when we're actually hungry at some point. Specifically when it comes to binge eating, we stuff ourselves so much that sometimes it's hard for us to ever become hungry. So how can we combat that? How can we normalize our eating patterns? How can we feel normal again? That was my hugest struggle, and that's why I ended up starting to work with a dietitian. I started seeing one 2 years ago at my college's clinic-based center, and I really didn't like that because they wanted to control everything I was eating, where I was more struggling with the fact that I just needed a normalized eating pattern. I was so used to saving all of my calories for binging at night. It was obviously subconscious, but I would kind of macro hoard everything to eat at night because I knew that I just preferred to eat more at night. And there's nothing wrong with that, but since I've had binge eating disorder, clearly, and I also had anorexia, and I finally accepted and acknowledged the fact that I did have an unhealthy relationship with food, I humbled myself to go get help and tackle exactly what I needed to do, which was to establish a normal, healthy eating pattern. I was sick of eating so much at night that I wouldn't be hungry until maybe like 6 p.m. the following day, and I'm sure a lot of you have gone through that. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good not to be hungry at normal meal times. That feels terrible because you feel a lot of guilt and shame from the fact that you know that you're still kind of binge eating, even though it's within your macros, it's within your parameters of the calories, it's controlled. If you've ever struggled with food in your body, it's probably something that you deserve to kind of address and feel more comfortable with. And now I know that at least having a consistent eating pattern throughout the day makes me personally feel better, and I like feeling more quote unquote normal, as I have not been eating like a normal human being basically since the age of 10 when I had anorexia, and after that I just started binging, restricting, binging, and restricting. The key for this video and for me to really understand hunger and fullness signals and try to actually become hungry and establish a normalized eating pattern was finally accepting I really had no idea that I was a restrictor. I really thought I was just a binge eater. I really thought that binge eating was the only problem that I had, and I needed to stop binge eating because I was such a bad binge eater. I just stuffed my face every night, had shame and guilt and everything. But why do you think I was binge eating at night? Obviously, in a lot of my videos, I do talk about how binge eating is driven by your emotions and needing to stuff feelings down or feel fulfillment or comfort from food that you cannot get from real life or people that you are expecting it from. But a lot of it comes from genuinely being restricted throughout the whole day of not eating, and then your body's like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. And it's your mind too. You have natural cravings. It's not just, oh, you're physically hungry. You also do have cravings. So then if you've waited till about 6 p.m. the next day after you've had a binge the night before, and then you've restricted for this many hours, of course you're going to binge again. Your mind and your body have been restricted of any nourishment, any food, any calories, any energy. It's been expending all this energy, running off fuels that are stored from too much eating the night before or too much eating from a meal before. If you have your binges during the day, it has so much stored up discomforting fuel from like this one time period that this whole long period of time has to take place for you to digest it all and finally become hungry again, and then you're just starving mentally and physically and emotionally. So it's like, of course you're gonna binge again. Yes, it's crazy. It sucks. I hated it. I hated feeling this way, and it was really hard to break that cycle. And even now, I still prefer to eat more at night, but I try to pace my eating out more throughout the day. I don't care about nutrient timing. I don't care about eating 5 square meals a day. It's about the fact that I know that I have the tendency to binge at night, so I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna eat breakfast within at least a couple hours of waking up. Before, I would not eat breakfast until like 6 hours later after waking up. That was weird for me. I personally didn't like that. And if you've never had a struggle with food in your body, that's fine then. It's not a bad thing to wait a long time. Everyone has their own thing. But I knew the reason why I would wait so long is because I was so stuffed from the night's binge before. That's why. That's why I wanted to change it. That's why I wanted to start feeling hungry again. So that's my solution when it comes to binge eating and hunger, and I don't know how to get hungry and I don't know when I'm hungry. Because your body's metabolism is never having something to metabolize through the day. I'm not a science expert and I know I'm not saying it perfectly correctly, but in terms of an eating disorder standpoint, I think I'm trying to explain it the best way that I can. Give your body and your mind food and nourishment throughout the day so that you don't feel such a need to binge at night, and you also will get hungrier at normal times, and that will feel so good. Good to just finally feel at peace and at normal again, and your body's working with you. I hate waiting to get hungry. It's the weirdest feeling when you know it's because you binged and you're not hungry. That makes you feel so guilty and ashamed, and you shouldn't feel that way. And you can stop the pattern of that by also changing your eating pattern. So concrete advice is eat every few hours if you can, so that you don't feel the need to eat so much at one period of time, because that will not enable you to feel hungry at other times. I know that the goal isn't to be hungry or be so scientific about it, but we want to feel normalized, and that is my solution, and that's what helped me so much in my eating disorder recovery, and normalizing the way that I eat and truly nourishing my mind and my body throughout the day so that I never feel restricted and I can finally facilitate that normal hunger and normal fullness that a human body is supposed to have. And you deserve that. So take it slow and have that be your goal, and don't ever shame yourself or be disappointed in yourself for not being able to normalize or change your eating patterns right away. If you've struggled with this binging and restricting or intermittent fasting or macro hoarding, anything that's disabled you from having normal hunger and fullness cues, it's okay. It will take time, trust me. I understand. And it's okay if you still fall into restricting. It's okay if you still fall into binge eating, because it's a process. You're teaching yourself a whole new way of being, and it's gonna be difficult. My next video is gonna be about fullness and how do I stop eating when I'm full, and how do you notice fullness cues and what that's like, because it's really hard to notice. It's really hard to be mindful of, not just if you've struggled with food in your body, for normal everyday people. So please subscribe to my channel to make sure you get that notification for when that video comes out. Please give the video a thumbs up if it helped at all. If you liked it, please comment below if you have anything to say. I love your comments all the time. It helps me know that I'm helping you, and that is always my goal. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!